Well, all right, people. So I want to talk about the Mueller report because it was finally announced that this whole thing is over. This whole debacle is over. I mean, how exhausted are you over these last almost 2 years over the Mueller report, hearing about it every single fucking day? I mean, you can't even walk outside without, oh, alert, this guy indicted, you know. So to summarize the Mueller report, it really didn't show anything of that much substance. Yeah, you know, there was a few people indicted. You know, people like to throw out, oh, 30 some people indicted, but they don't realize that like 12 of them were like random. I call them the 12 Russian irrelevants that were indicted for like, I don't know, posting Facebook ads or something. Like, I don't even know if that's illegal. Like, you know, I could go online and support Putin or support Netanyahu in this upcoming election and pay money for it, I believe. Like, you know. So that's really not, that has nothing to do with Trump. Manafort, nothing to do. I mean, those crimes he committed like 10 years ago about tax fraud and bank fraud and all that shit, that has nothing to do with Trump. And he didn't know about it when he hired the guy. Nobody did. Nobody was saying anything about that shit when Trump hired Manafort, so you could forget about that one. That's just dealing with Manafort, not the campaign or Trump. And most of the other crimes, just about all of them, are dealing with lying to the FBI, so process crimes. In other words, these crimes were not committed before the investigation started. There was no Russian collusion found by this investigation. Most of these crimes were committed during the investigation, meaning like lying to the FBI. Yeah, I mean, if you talk to the FBI for 5 hours like Roger Stone did or Michael Flynn did, you're bound, you know, and you get all these complicated questions, you're bound to fuck up one time. Oh, lying to the FBI, go to jail, you know. It's, and then they say, oh, well, Trump never sat down with Mueller. Well, of course not. It's a perjury trap. Haven't you seen the pattern going on over these last 2 years? So no collusion, no substance that was found by Mueller. I know we still have to, you know, see what's in the final report, but I doubt that there's anything dealing with collusion in the final report, since nobody was indicted for having connections, inappropriate connections with Russia. And I am also very mad as an American citizen that this whole witch hunt, which it was a witch hunt, and you know why it was a witch hunt? Because it didn't look at both sides of the situation. It didn't look at both political parties. You could argue, you know, there a few minor details between Trump and Russia, whatever. But I don't think it warranted an investigation. But if you're going to do the investigation, and by the way, it's not a crime to support Russia or to talk to Russians. That's not a crime, by the way. But if they're going to do an investigation on Russia, then investigate both sides. So why did Mueller look at the Democrats who maybe have colluded with Russia? I don't know. There's a lot of funky business going on over there with the Steele dossier and oh, Donald Trump had hookers pee on him and all that shit. You know, why isn't Mueller investigating that? And then Mueller also goes outside of his scope that he's supposed to investigate, because what was he supposed to investigate? Crimes dealing with Russian collusion. But then we hear about, oh, you know, the porn actress and the payments and all that shit, which were not illegal, by the way, and I made a video on that. So I'm glad this whole fucking thing is over and there's no collusion, no conspiracy or whatever. And every logical person knew that, by the way. I mean, there was no evidence whatsoever of collusion, and there still isn't. Talking to Russians or supporting, you know, Russia, wanting to have an open dialogue with Russia is not collusion. You know, like they say, oh, Roger Stone had connections with WikiLeaks. So what? He's a journalist. So did NBC. So did all these other news websites. They wanted to talk to Julian Assange to see what was in the dossier. Oh, Roger Stone had advanced knowledge of the WikiLeaks. No, he didn't. These people are so stupid. He did a really poor quality press conference. Julian Assange did this press conference before the election. It was a public event saying he was going to release these emails. It was public information. Maybe the mainstream media didn't cover it. I don't know, because they wanted to cover up for Hillary, but it happened. I watched it. I stayed up to 3 a.m. watching that fucking press conference. I mean, it's just so they'll go at every length to try to frame Trump and his supporters as Nazis or Russian colluders, and it's all been bullshit, and there's no evidence. So what do they do now that there's no evidence? Oh, we gotta have Trump release his taxes. Oh, we have to look into Trump's personal life. Oh, we have to look into Trump's businesses and his family and every single aspect of his life. Because they failed with the Russian collusion shit to bring him down. They wanted to impeach him, but now they can't, so they got to try to find some other hoax to impeach him. I mean, this is ridiculous, people. Do you realize how much not only the Democrats, but the media and every single fucking societal establishment hates Trump, whether it be in your, go to a fucking college classroom and see how liberal everybody is. Go to a fucking, see what the sports people are saying and the entertainment people and the pop culture and every avenue of society is against Trump. The establishment on both sides, the Republicans and Democrats, are against Trump. Case in point, they voted down his border wall emergency order. I mean, this guy is just getting so much attack from the Democrats. They don't want to work with him. They don't want to do anything. They want to impeach him, and that's a damn shame. So instead of actually, looking forward to 2020 and seeing what they could do to get the White House back, they're trying to remove him by all these means, like the 25th Amendment and McCabe. Yeah, you don't hear the media talking about that one, do you? No. So the media is just so left-wing. Mueller is so left-wing because he didn't investigate any Democrats, didn't investigate Hillary Clinton or Steele or all these people in the FBI like Lisa Page and Strzok and all these other people who maybe committed crimes. I don't know. But it should be investigated. If you're going to launch a huge-ass investigation into possible Russian interference or collusion or whatever the fuck, then you should investigate both sides and be fair. And this special counsel was not fair. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on that.